Good morning, everybody. We are going to start off our holiday class pass with Peppermint Twist. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the cutting of this project. So the first video will show you all of the cutting, and then I am going to do a second video that will have your assembly. So we're going to make a full block and so that you guys understand putting those together. We are using the Creative Grid half 60 ruler along with a pattern called Peppermint Twist from Cut Loose Press. I'm really excited about this. One of the other classes coming up this week is our Crazy Christmas Trees, which uses our our spiderweb ruler, which is a ruler that we have used for a whole lot of different projects. Anytime that we do a ruler, we always come up with multiple projects for it, and we'll have some other things coming up for you guys using this ruler. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the Peppermint Twist consists of 3 blocks. In this case, I have red, white, and green. You can make all red, you can make all green, you can change your peppermints to whatever color. If you wanted to use Halloween fabric and make Halloween candies. So basically you have an accent stripe and then you have your color stripes. In this case, once again, red and green with white. This pattern does have some rights and some lefts and some things like that. So I'm going to go through all the cutting with you to make life really simple. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we'll be using today. So obviously a rotary cutter. You're going to need a ruler that has a 60-degree line on it. So most of our rulers will have some sort of 45 and then usually a 60-degree line on there. This Creative Grids, which most of the longer Creative Grid rulers will have, a 45, a 60, and this one also has a 30-degree. So we will be using the 60-degree today along with the half 60 ruler. So let's go ahead and just start our cutting. We're going to start with our white background. So that is going to be 2 different methods of cutting. And just so you know, you will be using, there's 2 strips in the cutting instructions, and you will be using the leftover strip from your first set of cuts for the second cut, which is a 60, and I'll show you. So on here, we have the half 60. We're going to be flipping this ruler back and forth as we cut, and we're going to cut 18 identical units, and we're going to be using the 2.5-inch line on this ruler. We'll be using other lines and getting other angles as we go in some of the other cutting today. But we're going to start with this. So I've made a fresh cut here, and we're going to 2.5 inches. So we're going to line up on that 2.5-inch line, line up on the edge, and I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to rotate my ruler. I'm going to line up on that 60-degree, on the 2.5. Here is the line, and there's my second piece. So I'll show you one more time, and then you're going to continue until you have 18 of these. So I flipped it back, we cut it. I'm going to flip it one more time, lining up again on that 2.5-inch, and we're going to cut. So when you are said and done, you are going to have 18 of this shape, okay? So you can just take those and set them to the side. All right. You will not use all of that first strip of fabric for the cutting. You're going to use your leftover piece for the next cut, and we're going to use I'm using my Creative Grid rulers, and I'm using the 60-degree line. So that 60-degree line is going to give me the first cut. So I'm going to line this up here, and I'm going to line this 60-degree on this bottom straight line. So this is going to give me my first 60-degree cut, and it's going to be just like this. So I'm going to cut that. Now I'm going to use this 60-degree angle and I'm going to cut on my 2.5 inch grid line or marking. So a 2.5 inch, and I'm just going to continue to cut all the way down. And I will also need 18 of these diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 18 of these diamonds. So I've already pre-cut those. So I've got 18 of those and 18 of the original shape, which is what we cut with that 1/2 ruler. So I'm going to set these to the side. Now, it's important that you do pay attention when cutting to your instructions. And what I mean by that is we are going to cut the first piece of fabric, which is going to be the last piece of white. So that's going to be that no, I said that wrong. Oh, yeah. So we're going to take our last piece of white fabric. Sorry about that. I just had to read that. Now, it says wrong side up. Now, the fabric I'm using for the sample today is, I'm just going to iron this real quick. I had it in the wrong pile. That's why I had to take a second guess at what I was doing there. The fabric tells you to cut it right side up. Now, in your kit, I cannot remember if you have a print or not. So I'm using a solid. It does not matter on mine, but you're going to cut this wrong side up. We're going to use the 4.5 inch line. We're going to use the 4.5 inch line on our ruler. Just like this, until, so I'm going to cut and I'm going to go ahead and cut. So there is that angle, and I'm going to just flip this back and forth until I've cut 18. So these are the last piece of white that I need to cut, 18 of them, and I'm going to use the 4.5 inch mark, which is going to be the same marking or the same way that we cut our very first. We're just going to flip that ruler back and forth as we go. Back and forth as we go until we cut our 18. Okay, so you will cut 18 of those. I'm going to set them aside. I've already cut all mine, so those will be set to the side. As a reminder, it's wrong side up, because they're going to be a mirror image of the next two pieces that we're cutting. So we're going to take our 4.5 inch red and our 4.5 inch green, and we're going to cut these. So we are going to cut, once again, this is going to be on the 4.5 inch mark. Now I'm cutting on the right side of the fabric. So I've cut on the right side of the fabric. And what you're going to notice is these are going to become mirror images. That's why you have to cut this one wrong side up if it has a print to it. Okay, so I'm going to just continue to cut here. Once again, we're going to flip that ruler back and forth using the 4.5 inch line until we have cut all of our pieces. Now you're going to make 9 of these. So you're going to do 9 in green, 9 in red. Now if you were just using one color with your white, then you would need 18 of them. This alternates. This one is the red and green, so we'll need 9 of each. So I just need 4 more of these. So I will put that to the side for our demo, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my red. So I am going to just cut myself a straight edge, and then once again 4.5 inches. Okay, so you're going to need 9 reds, 9 greens, and you guys will be all done. Now, we're going to use the ruler, but we're going to cut differently to get a whole different shape. So what you're going to realize is this half 60 ruler is cutting triangles and trapezoids. So that's what we're going to cut next, is some trapezoids. And we're going to be using these on our 6.5 inch mark. So what I'm going to do is I layered these, okay? So I just took them to kind of do a little bit of speed cutting here. I've layered these together. I've lined up and I've cut my straight edge. And then what we're going to do and I needed to just double check that. We're going to actually be cutting these ones upside down because we need that angle again. So we're going to take these and we're going to cut them on the 6.5 inch mark. Okay, so this is going to be the 6.5 inch mark. I've lined up there and I've lined up there, so that when we flip these over, we have our trapezoids. So 6.5 inches. I've lined up there and here. And I'm going to continue to cut trapezoids until I have 9 of each. Okay, so let me go ahead and cut 2 more sets of this. Just as a demo, I'm lining up the 6.5. I've lined up the edge, I've cut, and I have flipped. So when you are cutting this out, please pay attention. You have some fabric that's upside down, and you have some fabric that is cut wrong side up, and some fabric that's cut right side up. That's how you're going to get the angles that you need. All right? So then our last cutting is going to be to do our setting triangles. So our setting triangles are going to need to mirror each other. So the easiest way to do that would be to fold your strip in half just like this. So you're line up your salvages, line this. Because now we have one fabric that is cut upside down, one that's right side up. So that's going to give our mirror images. And we are going to be cutting these on the 6.5. And I'm going to just cut backwards. Okay, so there I have those mirror images. So by cutting them like that, I'll have mirror images. And we are going to continue down this strip. You are going to need 6 rights and 6 lefts in order to complete the table runner. 6 rights, and then you need 6 lefts. Okay, so that is going to give you your cutting. The only thing I didn't put on here is I didn't show you is to cut your strips for your outer border and your binding, but that's just normal straight cutting. This is all of the specialty ruler cutting that I showed in this video. Your part 2 of this video is going to be how to assemble the units, and then how to assemble the square, which will become your peppermint twist block. We will see you back here shortly for video number 2.